What's up, my angels? Alright, so we are already on to October book club, but today we are reviewing September's book club, which is Accidental Genius by Mark Levy. And this book is a tool that you use when writing to generate some of your best ideas, insights, and content. So after reading this book, I came up with 10 tips to follow, but before I go into those, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how the book is structured. So Mark definitely uses his own tone throughout the book, which is always nice whenever you're reading a book. I like kind of getting to know the author a little bit. He definitely has a little bit of humor to him, but the first few chapters he talks about like the 6 secrets to free writing. And really, they're just really simple, small steps that you can take into making your writing a little bit quicker and more efficient. But now I'm going to go into the top 10 that I feel like stood out to me, and hopefully they can help you as well. Free writing is going to show you the best ideas that you have and the worst ideas that you have, no matter what. So you're going to be going through some and be like, wow, I kicked ass today, those were great thoughts, and then some of them you're just gonna be like, I just repeat myself, this is all stupid, like I'm stupid, right? So what I want you to be aware of is it's going to show all these different sides of who you are as a person when you're free writing truly, but that's okay, and you're just supposed to go with it. The coolest part about free writing is it's going to show you where you need to grow, it's going to show you where you need to go, and it's going to show you like a bunch of things that maybe you wouldn't notice about yourself or what you do or say if you weren't writing it down on paper and then reviewing it. So journaling is really important, free writing is really important, but then reviewing your writing is also really important. I'm going to go into a few more steps pertaining to all that at the end as well. So the first one is to always investigate your reoccurring thoughts. And what I mean by that is when you notice in your journals that you keep saying the exact same thing. So maybe it would be like, I keep thinking that I'm not following my macros. I keep thinking that my food is off. I keep thinking that I'm not eating correctly. I keep thinking, right? So you kind of start noticing a pattern that way. Okay, now that I'm noticing that my food is having an issue, what do I have to do to change that? Why isn't what I'm doing currently working? So it helps you just evaluate what's been going on. So think about maybe the same people you keep bringing up, the same situations or things you keep bringing up, seeing if you're being self-critical. Are you talking negative about yourself often? Are you being overcritical of other people? Are you mentioning the same story over and over again? So be a little bit more aware of those things and then analyze like what that means for you. Another way to get some better thoughts out or to elicit a conversation with yourself is to address the top of your letter or journal entry to somebody else. So I would say, hey, Susan, or dear Susan, and then I would proceed to talk about whatever I wanted to talk about. Usually, speaking to somebody else will help you use a different tone and help you come up with some new ideas that you wouldn't just normally come up with by yourself. Alright, so the third one is another good tip about when you have nothing else to say or you're getting to a dead end in your free writing and you just don't know where else the conversation or the thought could go. We need to come up with a focus changer, and he has a huge list in the book of all these phrases or I guess questions you can ask yourself essentially to change the thought or the focus to get a deeper thought into what you were talking about. A couple of the ones that I wrote down was like, what was I thinking? What was I trying to say? How can I add value to that? So you see, it's just like kind of taking maybe my idea that I had and then asking more questions about it to come up with better ideas. And I love that one, and I do that all the time with not only myself but my clients as well in the ElevateU program. Number 4 is ask yourself, what problem am I trying to solve here? That's always a really good one to ask yourself when you are stuck in a question or trying to think about a situation you're in. Then whenever you come up with that, you can ask yourself like, who else has solved this, right? So maybe you can look up, like let's say Bill Gates, he overcame figuring out how to build software, right? Maybe you can like go look up people who's learned how to overcome software so you can overcome building software as well. And then how have they solved it? So you find out how they solved it and you start applying that to yourself. Essentially for this one, you just want to make sure that you don't have assumptions that you're making about yourself that are hindering you from overcoming or solving the problem that you do have. 5 is going to be when you need an idea, write out 100. This is going to take the pressure off of you. It kind of sounds crazy to say, oh, I only need one idea, why would I write out 100? But it's going to be easier on you mentally to say, I'm going to just write out any and every idea that comes to my mind over the next 3 days versus I need to find the best idea today, tomorrow, or by Wednesday, or I'm not going to figure it out. So we want to essentially take the pressure off ourselves. And, you know, this technique I use with myself whenever I'm going through branding or coming up with names. I also help some of my clients go through this as well whenever they're doing business transitions. So I know that this type of thinking definitely helps, or it helps me. 6 is going to be write as much as you can with no stops, no pauses, no stopping to think or even take a drink. I guess Mark said that it's best to just start writing and write sloppy, write messy, misspell words, because it doesn't matter. What matters at the end of the day is the idea or the thought that's provoked by the 10 to 20 minutes of free writing that you're doing. 7, you are what you focus on. So I love this one. You are what you focus on. And I completely agree with that one. He briefly just talks about how where the mind goes, the body goes. So he had a quote by Emerson that was really cool in there. And I just feel like this is a really important one to think about. Write where you want to go in life. Write where your future's going. Write about what car you want. Write about where you want your life to be in 5 years. Any type of vision of the future is going to help you get there. So, Mark, this is by far my favorite point of the whole entire one. Free write about your future life. 8, notice all the stories that are going on around you. So whenever you're trying to present your writing to the public or get a thought out, sometimes it's hard to know how. But I think it's really important, and so does Mark, to start noticing how other people voice their stories or their opinions or their situations that they're in, and start picking up on that and using it yourself. So there's always a lot of motivation, inspiration around you. So start to be aware of all those stories that are being told and try to come up with a way that makes most sense for you. All right, so just a couple more left. 9 is build an inventory where you keep all of your thoughts. And what he suggests is to type all these notes out, and when you're done with it, if it has a certain subject matter or something that could be important, archive it underneath a document folder that has something to do with what you're talking about. So let's say you're brainstorming about logo name ideas. Okay, put it in your logo file. Let's say you're brainstorming about exercise selection. Put it in your exercise folder. So he said that it's always good to have more ideas and be able to go back, refine them, or use them for sparking new ideas. And I think that's a great idea. I do feel like I'm going to switch from writing in a journal to writing on my laptop just a little bit more to keep these type of ideas and situations very handy and in a good spot where they won't get lost. All right, so the 10th one is set a timer and let it rip. Mark talks a lot about just setting timers for certain ideas and just writing as fast as you can, as hard as you can, as best as you can until the timer is up. And once the time is up, you can take a break and then you can come back and write more, or that's when you're done. That way it takes the pressure off of trying to come up with more ideas or doing something for too long. And I really like that point. He says 10 minutes to 30 minutes is as long as you need normally to write for all these assignments. So I hope you guys enjoyed my 10 tips for free writing. If you enjoyed this and you want to know more, obviously this was a super short synopsis of it. Mark's book was really good, and at the end of every chapter there's bullet points explaining what to remember, and also he gives you a journal prompt for every single chapter to practice what he just talked about. So if you're one of those people that's like, I don't know how to implement these things that I'm learning, this is the type of book for you if you're wanting to get better at this. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you haven't read the book yet, or you're thinking about now since you listened to this amazing analysis of this book, go ahead, buy it, shout me out, let me know how you liked it. I hope you guys are enjoying everything. This month's book club is The Slight Edge, and we are going in on that book. I hope everyone has a great freaking day. Thanks for watching. Subscribe so you can see all my next videos. I'll talk to you guys later.